Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. India, according to us, today faces a massive trust deficit. There is lack of trust today, not just in the spoken word, but also in the written word. All those promises or written documents of the best of authorities and the best of agencies today do not inspire trust. And this trust has been belied of crores of individuals and companies across the board. If you are a fixed deposit holder of the Punjab Maharashtra Cooperative Bank, the PMC Bank, you trusted its balance sheet and all that it claimed, and you lost your life savings. Lakhs of persons today have lost huge amounts in this scam. If you were a foreign investor who invested in projects of the Amravati new capital of Andhra Pradesh, today you are sitting with documents which were signed and delivered by the government itself, but they seem to be of no value. You trusted them, you did a mistake. If you were a mutual fund which lent money to DHFL, today your trust has been belied in those very financial statements, audited financial statements of DHFL, on the basis of which you lent money to DHFL, and today you find that that money is at risk. If you were an ordinary investor who was a client of Carvi, today you find that your shares have been misused by Carvi and loans have been raised against them. There are 95,000 such individuals who have lost money because they trusted Carvi. If you are a shareholder of CG Power, all those financial statements that were given to you turn out to be wrong, and today the value of your share has depleted considerably only because it turns out that there were falsities in the financial statements. If you are a shareholder of Jet Airways or Arcom, which are both headed to liquidation, and in both those cases, the liability claims that have been received by the resolution professional are far in excess of what was stated in the balance sheet. You would not be trusting those balance sheets anymore. Your trust has been belied, and those are balance sheets which were signed incidentally by famous audit firms from the Big Four. If you were a shareholder and investor of Manpasand Beverages, Vakrangri, etc., you find that you have lost money. Your shares value depleted because it turns out that the financial statements were wrong. Again, trust got belied. You do not really know who to trust, even if it is today a AAA rated company, rating given by one of those rating agencies which had also rated ILFS to be a AAA, and it turned out to be rotten. If you are a person in the income tax department, you very often do not know whether to trust those very balance sheets signed certified by auditors and directors which are placed before you. So, trust in India has been eroded, it has been belied. And if we are wanting to revive the Indian economy, if we want its animal spirits to come back, if we want the credit delivery in the system from banks and NBFCs to be restored, then apart from economic policies and reforms that we are demanding, what we need is restoring trust in the economy. And that will come by way of what we call a cleanup movement. We need a version of Swachh Bharat in corporate India, banking India, NBFC India, and wherever there have been signed documents or signed agreements which turned out to be wrong. We actually need a massive cleanup in our corporate system, in our banking system, and all those who are attached with it. What is the kind of cleanup we are talking? The starting point of the cleanup is financial statements of companies and banks. They have been often found to be loaded with falsities and bogus claims and bogus statements. They were certified to be true and fair, but they were not correct. They were not even true and fair either. The first cleanup that we need is cleanup of all these financial statements which turned out to be bogus, and because of which lenders got hoodwinked, investors got hoodwinked, shareholders got cheated, government revenue departments got cheated. So the first cleanup starts with financial statements. Give an opportunity to all corporates to come clean. It should come with a threat that if they do not come clean, they are going to face heavy penalties and prosecution. We need a one-time cleanup at least of corporate India's, banking India's bogus balance sheets loaded with falsities. The next cleanup we need is in the government data. The government publishes data which is nowadays very suspect. There is no connect with the ground reality. The government needs to restore its credibility in the data it gives by cleaning up its act and not giving data which they know is doctored, is window dressed. So the next one is restoring faith and trust in government data by a cleanup there. The third is we need a cleanup in the entrepreneurs that we have. We find many of them have cheated the system, they have subverted the system, and lakhs of persons have lost their money. These kind of entrepreneurs, they need to be weeded out. They may be the likes of promoter directors like the singles of Bhushan Steel. They also include the likes of Ravi Parthasarthi, who presided over ILFS, and also the likes of Chanda Kochar, who ensured that statements of ICICI Bank were doctored in their own way. We need to weed these out. This cleanup is also needed. A purge is needed. If we are cleaning the system of promoter directors, we also need to clean the system of independent directors. Corporate India, Banking India has been loaded with independent directors who never kept a check on the management for which they were meant to be there. They were yes men. They were sycophants. They were happy being on the board and being the yes men of those promoters who got them. They failed in their duty big time. We need a cleanup of the independent directors who sit on the biggest of boards of corporate India and who have let down the country. We of course need a cleanup of the auditors. The auditors have compromised their integrity. It is they who were willing to certify statements which were bogus, as we are seeing in so many cases, particularly led by blatant audit compromise in cases of ILFS, DHFL, etc. If auditors do not improve their integrity, they do not improve their independence, which they are meant to be, and they continue to compromise their situation, corporate India will only get bogus balance sheets. So we need a massive cleanup in the audit profession. We then need a cleanup of regulators. Regulators have been found to be compromising their independence and authority. They have been found to kowtow to the directions of political bosses only for their promotions and postings. And they have also been found to be taking action which has been late. The RBI was late in taking action against the PMC bank collapse, and SEBI has been late in taking action against Carvi. We need regulators who are cleaned up of these kind of situations so that they maintain their integrity and do what is expected of them. After regulators, of course, come a cleanup of institutions. Take the case of RBI. Political appointees sit on its board today, and RBI, which is an autonomous independent body, has been compromised to that extent. Only men of independence, integrity and competence need to sit on such boards because their decisions influence the direction of the country and they need to be unbiased, of the highest integrity and highest competence. We need a cleanup there. We need a cleanup of those laws today which have got so loaded with provisions of penalty and prosecution for no reason. We need a cleanup of those laws like GST which have got so complicated, because till that is not done, you will not get the animal spirits coming back. The trust in the law is missing today. The next cleanup that is needed, rid corporate India of sycophants. Any policy decision that comes from the government only attracts a lot of applause from the topmost industrialists and the topmost trade association office bearers in the country. Reserve Bank may come up with a policy which is not the best, but every banker will approve it. This kind of sycophancy is harming India. It is eroding our very trust in these authorities, and they need to get their act together. The next one is a cleanup in policy making in the country. Policies are yet being tailored, or businesses are yet being given to cronies. We saw that in the case of our defense, where it got a Rafale order, which was very questionable. They need to be cleansed of any kind of cronism so that faith in policy making is restored. A cleanup is needed in agencies like CBI, ED and ITD, which do a great job in the country to tackle criminals. But a cleanup is needed so that they are not used as political tools. We need that cleanup. A cleanup is needed in the judiciary to make judges more sensitive to deliver justice which is timely, less expensive and seen to be fair. We need a cleanup there. And we need a massive cleanup in the bureaucracy of corruption, red tapeism, nepotism, and favoritism. This is the kind of cleanup that India needs, along with reforms and revival measures that are taking place. Because if this is not done, the trust that has been lost of the system will not come back. And till trust doesn't come back, till that is not restored, the credit delivery in the system, the propensity of the entrepreneurs to risk their capital will not improve. And without that, you are not going to get an economic revival the way it is expected. So, what corporate and banking India needs today is a Swachh Bharat, a cleanup of the entire system. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.